there, everyone. I hope you're all having an absolutely fabulous day today. It's September, the fog's about burning off, and last week we chatted about all the fun things that you can find in the nursery in September. Today I'm going to talk about the chores that you really ought to be doing now to make sure that you can keep your garden thriving and make the space for all those fun things you're going to be adding. So, what do you do in your garden in September? Let's dive right in. I'm Fionuala. I live, work, and garden in Zone 9B, just outside of Petaluma in beautiful Northern California. So my videos are generally geared towards everybody in my general region. If you're someplace else, just modify it to your particular area. Check in with your local nursery person or your master gardeners and find out how relevant this is to you. But okay, now let's get going. Okay, let's start out in the veggie garden. You're going to want to continue harvesting your summer veggies to get the most out of your vegetable plants. I'm in the squash bed right now. I can see a summer squash right over there. And I really do want production for as long as possible. So harvest your harvest your squashes to keep the plant going for as long as you possibly can. I don't know if you've ever grown a zucchini before. If you don't stay on top of it, they can literally turn into a baseball bat overnight. And I like not to eat baseball bats. I like the squash to be small. They're super tasty. And the longer you keep doing this and the more you stay on top of it, the more your plant is going to produce for you. Keep giving you zucchinis or crooknecks or beautiful little patty pans for many more months until the frost hits, basically. One thing you might want to keep an eye out for right now in your veggie garden is that you're watering enough. It's towards the end of the summer, the days are a little bit shorter, but it is still so dry. So keep an eye on your irrigation. Make sure your plants are nicely hydrated. You can tell by lush green leaves, great produce, and yeah, just make sure you've stayed up on your watering and you stayed up on your picking your veggies. This is a squash. I'm going straight over the tomatoes right now because I know there's a bunch of tomatoes to be picked. All right, now I'm at the sun gold tomato plant and I'm going to keep on picking because this keeps on giving me tasty little tomatoes all the way to Christmas if the weather cooperates. But same thing, you don't want to leave your tomatoes on your tomato vine. You want to keep picking all the time and enjoying. Watch your tomato plant for fungal problems or for insect damage, but don't stress too much because as soon as the winter comes, you're going to be getting rid of these plants entirely. Just pick off the affected leaves. If you think it's a fungus, toss those leaves directly in the trash. Don't put them in your compost. You want to get rid of that fungal problem. Make sure it doesn't come back next year. So keep your veggie garden clean, keep it well hydrated, keep it well picked. That is chore number one in your vegetable garden. Still in the veggie garden, but this counts for everywhere else also. Stay on top of your weeding. September, a lot of the weeds are going to go to seed. So you want to get there ahead of it and get your weeds pulled and picked and out of your yard. Now, if they haven't gone to seed yet, of course they can go in your compost pile. What you want to make sure is you interrupt this whole weed cycle in your garden. This counts for ornamental and veggie gardening. Get those weeds out of there. Get them in your compost pile. Let's try to prevent fewer weeds for next year. I'm still weeding and I just found the most adorable little baby eggplants. It's late September and oh my goodness, things like peppers and eggplants have been a little slow this year, but look at them. They are quite adorable. You want to keep deadheading all your summer annuals, and if any of them are completely spent, time to pull them out and make space for whatever you want to plant next. So this marigold is still going strong. Over there's a couple not going so well. I'm going to pull those ones, make space for some calendula. I keep thinking we're going to move on to the ornamental garden, but there are more and more chores to be done in the veggie garden right now that I feel like, let's stay here another couple of minutes so I can tell you what you need to do with your Your squash, your winter squash, your pumpkins, everything like that. We're getting late into the season, so any of the new growth on your butternut squash or any of your pumpkins, they're going to be putting their energy into the new growth and the new flowers. So what you want to do right now is snip these back so it focuses on the already developing fruit. Here's a little tiny cute adorable butternut squash. I want this butternut squash plants not to focus on creating more new flowers, more new growth. So I'm going to snip it off right here. That'll redirect the energy into the butternut squashes already developing, and I will have butternut squash for winter. You do the same thing with your pumpkins, with your gourds, because here we are late September. Realistically, we've only got really another 6 weeks of growing time. So yeah, you get out there on your garden walk, have a look what's happening out there with your winter squash, with your pumpkins, and get those plants to direct all their energy to developing the beautiful little pumpkins and squashes already on the plant. And on your walk through your garden, while you're really observing everything and cutting off new growth on your pumpkins and squash and everything, if you notice any veggie plants not producing anymore, like your beans are done or a tomato plant is just not putting out anything anymore, peppers, cucumbers, whatever, it's time to remove them. Get them gone, get that soil all empty and ready for a fall and winter veggie that you're going to plant. So yeah, remove those spent crops, they're done. Time to move on to the next thing. In the ornamental garden, there's a number of things you're going to be doing in September. One of them is prune back your lavender. It's done blooming. This is Grosso, one of those beautiful lavandins, and it is finished blooming. A couple of little sporadic blooms up here, but it's definitely time to clean it up, prune it up, and just tidy it and shape it so that it looks good going into the winter. Another thing you're going to be doing in the ornamental garden as you do your walk through is make sure that you're taking out any of the spent summer annuals and looking at all the plants you've got going there and seeing who is overcrowded and what might need dividing. Now, as far as dividing plants is concerned, what I'm talking about here is hostas, Shasta daisies, black-eyed Susans, the rudbeckias. All of those, within 3 to 4 years after you planting them, they tend to get overcrowded and are suffering a little bit from that overcrowding. So have a look, really look at everything that you've planted. What's looking overcrowded? What's looking a little unhappy? Time to mark those for dividing. Late in the month, that's exactly what you're going to do. Now, to divide a Shasta daisy or a daylily or a rudbeckia, what you're going to do is dig the whole plant up. Dig around that plant as wide as you possibly can, making sure you get all the root structure of that Shasta daisy, for example. That's what we're going to talk about today. You're going to dig it up as carefully as you can, and you're going to divide it. Use a real sharp shovel, real sharp spade, a digging fork, or a really, really good pruners to prune through there. Divide your plant up, and then, quite often I'll divide it into 4, so I get 4 new plants out of it. I will place one back in the spot where I had it in the first place, because obviously it was really happy or it wouldn't have grown so big and robustly over 3 to 4 years. But before I stick it back in the same hole, you want to amend that soil. Add soil booster, add some fertilizer, put it back in there, water it in super, super well, and then find homes for the others that you've just divided out. Same thing for them. You want to get it in a pot or in the ground as quick as you possibly can in the richest soil possible. Water them really well to get those roots nice and deep and established again. Great way of getting free plants, great way of adding more plants to your own garden, and really fun to give away too. So that's a good thing. All right, back to this lavender. I got distracted. What I'm doing here, I'm pruning off just above the foliage. I'm not going to go too deep into the foliage at this point. I want all the photosynthesis possible happening. but I do want to tidy it up because it has been looking so messy. This is what you're aiming for. Doesn't look gorgeous right now, but there's enough foliage on there to do the photosynthesis, keep this a happy, healthy plant to bloom again all over again next year. Okay, so you have cleared out your spent annuals, you've cleared out your spent vegetables, you've got some empty spaces in your garden. It is really important right now to get out there and do some soil prep for whatever it is you're going to plant next, whether it's spring blooming bulbs, your fall veggie garden, trees, shrubs. Soil prep is the thing. So to prepare your soil, make sure it's as weed-free as you possibly can get it, and then add some real high-quality compost, soil booster, and possibly a handful or two of fertilizer. But know what you're going to plant there before you start adding fertilizer. There's reasons for that. So yeah, soil prep, that's an important one for right now. And then think about where you're going to plant garlic. Do you want to plant garlic? Garlic, just like everything else, you grow it yourself, it tastes amazing. And September is the time to buy your garlic bulbs. It's late September. It's when the nurseries and various places are going to have the best selection, the most unusual varieties, and they're going to be freshly harvested, and they're going to be nice and full and ready to plant. So now is when you're going to be buying them. But around here, Northern California, you really don't want to plant it till October. So September is when you plan out where you're going to have your garlic, because you're going to have it in place until next June or July. That's when you're going to be harvesting it. So plan it out. Where are you going to put your garlic? All right, everything I just said about garlic also counts for spring flowering bulbs. Now what I'm talking about here are your daffodils and tulips and freesias and ranunculus and all those wonderful, gorgeous harbingers of spring that you're supposed to plant in October or right around when the first rains fall around here. Again, I'm here in Northern California. I know it's entirely different for much of the rest of the country, but what we need to do right now in September is start shopping for the spring blooming bulbs. Because again, this is when you're going to get the best selection. The nurseries have just got those bulbs in. They're fat and fresh and gorgeous. And best selection. Honestly, that's the thing that gets me. You can find almost everything towards the end of September, whereas when you go in November, half of your favorite varieties might be gone. So shop for spring blooming bulbs. Ours aren't here quite yet, but they should be here any day now. And what I really want to plant this year are Dutch irises and grape hyacinths again. I haven't done that for quite some time. Crocuses are also super cool, but there's nothing quite like a whole bunch of gorgeous daffodils in a vase in April. So yeah, more daffodils, grape hyacinths, Dutch irises are getting planted too. And you know, you always have to do some tulips, always. September is a great time to plant a lot of different kinds of plants. Wonderful time to get deciduous trees in the ground. Wonderful time to get shrubs in the ground. Fabulous time to get fruit trees in the ground. What happens in September is that you get these already nicely established apples, for example. Bring one of these home, nicely established, great root system. You prep the hole, you plant it. Over the winter months, while it's dormant, it is still putting out roots, and next spring, it's ready to take off for you. So yeah, September is a great time to plant apples, pears, peaches, nectarines, cherries, any deciduous fruit tree that you can find. It is a great time to plant them. Fruit trees such as citrus trees, you are definitely getting towards the end of the time where it's a great time to plant a citrus tree. They're very susceptible to frost. You can definitely plant them if you can find them. Like this mandarin Kinao, oh my God, it's got so many little fruits on it. I'd be really tempted for this one. Go ahead and do it if you're ready to protect it once the frost comes. A new tree planted anywhere past the end of September is going to be particularly vulnerable to the first frost. Around here, we can get it as early as November. Generally doesn't happen until January, but you need to be ready to protect them. So wholeheartedly go for the deciduous ones. Think hard about the citrus. If you do decide to go for citrus trees, I've got some advice for you. I did a video just how to protect them. Find it right here. September is a really great time to start planting your brassicas, such as broccolis and cauliflowers, Brussels sprouts, kale. Really, really good time. We're coming up to the cool season. Also, peas. Plant some peas. It is a really good time to get all of these guys in your vegetable garden. You've already prepped your soil. Let's get planting. As for cool season loving flowers, this is the time you're going to want to plant calendula. You can do it from seed or from starts. And that's also called pot marigold. I love them. You can even eat them, make them into salves, but they're so, so pretty and they love the cooler weather. Particularly enamored with the kind of apricot sort of colored ones this year. Doubles, apricot colored ones. I've got Pacific Apricot Beauty and Sunset Buff. I love them both. You can also plant bachelor buttons and sweet peas. It is time to get your sweet pea seeds. It's time to get your sweet peas planted. Believe it or not, this is the best time to plant them to get the best results next spring. So put it on your calendar, get your seeds, get your starts, get your sweet peas in. It's also a really great time to plant natives and nativars. Like anything that is native to California, now's a great time to plant them. Again, you're going to get them all established nicely over the winter months. Their roots go down, they take off next spring. I love all these yarrows. Yarrows is a native. These are all cultivars developed for their color. Really good time to plant them. But here's one I love to show you. This is goldenrod and it's a little tiny, not tiny, it's not tiny. It's a short variety called Little Lemon. It is a nativar of the native goldenrod, California goldenrod that I have over there. But this is something I want to show you. This is a buckwheat. It is called Warner Little, and it is a native hybrid that the bees absolutely adore, and that is blooming right now. It works great in a hanging basket, works great as a ground cover. Bees cannot get enough of it. So yeah, fabulous time to plant natives. Fabulous time to plant shrubs, trees. Really, really a great time to plant so many different things. Just make sure you have that soil prepped first and you are good to go. This is a full-sized California goldenrod. Hasn't quite started blooming yet here in our nursery, but you can see it's at least going to be 3 times the size of that gorgeous little lemon over there. All right, so finally, really check your watering. You want to keep everything hydrated for a bunch of reasons, both for the sake of the plants, but also because sadly here in Northern California, we have a thing called fire season. And you want to make sure your plants are as hydrated as they can be, your garden is as hydrated as it can be, just in case. So keep those plants healthy, keep your garden alive and thriving. And on the subject of fire season, the other thing you really need to do right now ahead of it is check your gutters. Get your gutters cleaned. Get all those leaves that have fallen into it over the summer months, get them out of there. You want to have clean gutters going into the end of September. So yeah, there you go. I think that's all the chores. If you can think of anything extra, ask me some questions. There you have it. We've covered September. What do you do in the garden in September? It's not all fun and games, of course, but you want to keep your garden thriving. You want to keep it going and gorgeous and as healthy as you can. Just hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, like it, share it, subscribe if you haven't done so already. The best thing you can do is come visit me at Cottage Gardens. But if you're too far away, drop a comment. Let's connect somehow. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram too, of course. And yeah, best thing you can do, honestly, get out to your own garden. Have a look. What is going on out there? Observe it, enjoy it. Watch the hummingbirds if you have them. Watch the chickadees harvest the sunflowers. Honestly, September is a great time of year. You're going to have a fabulous time in your own garden, getting it ready for next year, and please come visit. That would be fabulous. All right, happy gardening, everybody. See you next time.